Welcome today to Teams Golf Presentation. Today I want to introduce to you guys the newest, greatest invention for figuring out how people can get things done. I introduce to you the Tradesman's tool. Real people, real skills, real results. In order to understand why we went with the Tradesman tool, we need to look at what we thought of for our ideas. Our ideas was we wanted to look at the human capital, how everything functions. We wanted to focus on people's skills, put the emphasis towards the users, and our main concern was safety. And we wanted to make sure it was really easy to understand. So the first question that comes up when looking at this is, what is human capital? Human capital is the intangible collective resource possessed by individuals, such as skills, talents, knowledge, and abilities of that individual. So taking from that, we had to think of the concerns that would come when trying to utilize these skills. Our first few concerns was, how do we ensure the honesty of the people who plan on using our product? How do we make sure that they don't abuse our system in order to gain resources for themselves outside of the typical ways? How could we integrate this into the day-to-day life to make it easy and almost a seamless transition from what they're used to? And do we want to exclude anybody on how we focus this app? Our other concern is your concern. If you guys have any concerns, suggestions, or anything else that we might have missed throughout this presentation, please navigate to the discussion board where you found the original link for this and leave your concerns, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. So without further ado, I present to you the Tradesman tool. What we want this application to do is to allow workers to almost trade skills. We're going to put the power back to the people. We're trying to take that focus away from the big business who may or may not know the worth of the skills their employees have. And we wanted to make sure that you can't pay to promote your own skill, similar to other job sharing sites where you can pay more and you appear above people. Regardless of the quality of your work, you might appear above somebody who has better quality. So the way we want this to work is based off of a currency system. We call this currency a skill coin. It's going to be obtainable by first signing up through the site, and then will also be given by completing tasks such as doing the work that somebody requires. We'll also offer promotional events and other special opportunities just to make sure that people who may have a more specialized skill that's not always necessary will still have the ability to get that currency. There's going to be a standard that is set depending on what the person's skill set is and the amount of coin that will go for an hour. So a skill that may be a more common skill, such as painting a fence, may go for 1 skill coin per hour. But a more intricate job, such as replacing the alternator on a vehicle, could possibly go to 2 or 3 skill coins, just based off of the trends that we see from users. We will make it so that when people sign up is typically the only time that the coins are created. That way we can keep a centralized market, and unlike the Fed where more money is printed without the actual worth of that money also going up, we can keep the skill coin at that set cap, and then people can't mitigate how they're spending it as much. So now we need to look at our tradesmen, the men and women who are using our product, who are offering their skills for others to use. We have systems in place to make sure that all users will be vetted. The proper licensing will be collected from them, so we won't have any contractors doing any work in their state that may or may not be considered illegal if they don't have these licensing. If they're offering a job that requires the proper licensing, we will make sure before they're even able to sign up for our site that they have submitted all of this licensing. This will not only provide us with less liability if something is to go wrong, this will provide a more peace of mind environment for the users, as they know that somebody who is fully aware of what they are doing is going into their house to perform these tasks. Full account verification will be required. This means that phone number, proof of residence, email address, and the licensing and all of that with proper background checks will be performed simply due for the currency that is given at the beginning. One of our concerns is the honesty that we hold our users to. And if one person is able to create 5 accounts and then from doing that send themselves the sign-up amounts from each of those accounts, then we will have successfully bogged down our own market within the first 10 minutes of the creation. At our launch in the beginning, we are trying to focus more on blue collar. That we found that they would be our biggest market in the beginning just because there are more people right now looking for somebody to work on their car, somebody to paint their fence, somebody to perform house cleaning in their residency, somebody to sweep their pool and do this. The more blue-collared central is a more diverse pool in which we can reach the app out to. So our plan of launch, as I said, our first crowd is going to be blue collar. We intend to launch this with 100 blue collar workers, preferably with a more diverse skill set. Where I'm located is in California in an oil town, so we have quite a few blue collar workers here who specialize in mechanics, oil, construction, the sorts. So we're hoping to launch with just 100 of those. The reason we keep the number so small is this will allow us to better monitor how each of these jobs are being performed. And since we're really going for that away from big business and the power back to the people, this will provide feedback for us for that local field to see if we're achieving our own goals and also giving our workers the ability to feel involved in their community. So we are reaching out to a specific consumers. This app will most likely be for jaded workers, people who are trying to gain skill, and people looking for extracurricular activities. With this, when we say jaded workers, we've all been in a job position where we feel we are not appreciated. We feel we have a skill set that is not being properly utilized, or we're utilizing too much of our skills and not being paid enough. This allows for people to spread their human capital, to show everybody what their profession, what their skill, what they can do as a person. And then from that, be able to get paid in the skill coin. And from that, maybe you can paint a house better than anybody in the neighborhood. However, you cannot edge your bushes for the life of you. If you paint somebody's house, you can now hire maybe that person to then turn and trim your bushes. These skills will also be available in our future outreach, in which we're trying to allow people to practice with other consumers so that we can spread the skill in a more meaningful manner. And due to the nature of the jobs that are being performed, it is possible that our users are able to complete these tasks outside of their typical work hours. This will allow for what could be seen as moonlighting, but also as a way to pass the time. If you come home from work and you typically just sit and watch TV, now you can not only practice your skill set, you can grow, you can practice new skills, you can hone in your abilities. And so you're using your cognitive surplus in a meaningful manner that will help you grow as a person. We again go back to the accountability of users. Along with requiring documentation of licensing, we also plan on implementing a rating system. With this rating system, we will be able to better sort and provide options for people based off of the quality of the work done. When we were originally trying to decide how we would do the displaying of the users, we thought maybe the amount of jobs completed, the amount of times hired, but we realized that this wouldn't provide the quality of work that we were aiming to throw into the workplace. We also wanted to implement a complaint system along with this. This would allow users who have given a 1-star review to put pictures to explain to us the quality of the work that was unsatisfactory, so we could then further look into that account and possibly remove them from our service if their skill that they were offering wasn't up to par that others would do. We wanted to build that customer trust based off of the work quality, not only the quality of our application, but the quality of the people associated with us. We wanted full-blown trust in every person that comes out of Tradesman. So now we need to look at the future. Obviously, we don't want to stick with just the 100. We want to move on. We want to extend to white-collar professionals. There are plenty of us who reconfiguring a router is almost second nature at this point. But there are some of us who just don't even know how to log into an IP. So providing the fact that I can't change my own oil, I could trade with my neighbor for him to come over and change my oil, and then I go over and set up his wireless network. Through this, we can exchange our skills and show each other the importance that we provide to society. We also aim to implement an apprenticeships program to inspire more users to join in. Portfolios will be something of our future, so people can put their resumes. They can include jobs that they're proud of. It will also allow for people who have hired this user to post pictures, to give compliments, to give their ratings, to explain why they believe that that user should be hired. We also want to implement a sort of scheduling calendar where if a person has turned what we've provided into an almost job, where they're able to go out, do all of this, and collect their tokens, and then get the things done for at their house, they can put a calendar where they can mark their schedule so they will not be interrupted during their normal workday or have to get multiple calls about when the availability will work. Just because nothing is free, in the far future, we aim for allowing donations. If people like the way our app works, we're not money hungry. We're not going to put a fee on this application. We're not going to provide a way for people to buy space for themselves to move up into the world, to surpass people who may have more skills than them. We're going to try to run without ads, and that way the focus on the person and not the business can remain true through our actions and our users' actions. The main reason we wanted to implement this apprenticeship program is because of the 80-20 rule. With about 20% of the users granting 80% of the rules, we wanted to allow users to gain some currency with the fact that new users will slow down. It will plateau, and we've thought tirelessly on how we're going to navigate this. We wanted to allow a way for people who are constantly using the application to gain more. So what this apprenticeship program will do will allow for users who don't necessarily have the skill set to sign on with somebody who is high rated, who has the skill set, and will be able to learn from this person. The incentives that we provide is the trainer of the apprentice will gain a small, maybe 25% additional skill coin per job given by us. And we will also provide the apprentice with that 25% as well. Then the person who hires somebody who's marked as an apprentice trainer will receive a discount on the service that they are getting. This will inspire more people to use the app in order to grow their human capital. This will also show the users that we are not dedicated in this for the money, but rather to see people grow. We also aim to throw in a level up system in order to inspire people to try harder. The more jobs you do, the higher level up you go. At a certain point, you'll get some coins, and that way we can ensure that people being active on our application will allow for them to continue to use our application. So I thank you all for listening to this presentation today. We appreciate all the feedback that you can provide to us in the discussion board, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you.